What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another FPL Seal video. So today I have the team selection for double game week 20. Now, if you do enjoy today's video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel to help us grow this community. But let's get into it. So it's a lot to discuss, but here is how the team is lining up without any transfers made. As you can see, Patterson is on the bench. He is basically red flagged, so he's off. Trossard has about 75% chances to play with a calf issue, but of course he's kind of fallen out of favor, so we're not expecting much from him. Cancelo, Man City in the cup, they disappointed. He disappointed a lot, and when he did a foul throw in that game, you just saw Pep Guardiola's reaction. He kind of just gave up on the game, and he was talking to his assistant manager a lot after that. And I'm afraid Cancelo is not gonna start both of these games. I'm not guaranteeing it, but from what I saw in that cup game, the odds did not rise of him starting both those games. Now, overall, the team looks okay. News have just come out, and do not take this as the holy truth or whatever, but Darwin was not pictured in training, and there are rumors going about, started by FPL Focal. Someone DM'd him. I don't know how trustworthy that source is, but he DM'd him that Darwin will be out for 3 weeks. So if that is true, then moving Darwin out is one of the priorities in our teams. He's 9 million, or actually 8.9 million, and we can't afford to have him in our teams taking up that much of our budget if he's not going to play, not going to score, and not going to do anything for us. But overall, we're starting the game week with 4 doublers in the starting lineup, and those doublers are Rashford, Haaland, Cancelo, and Shaw. Now, I am tempted to captain Rashford instead of Erling Haaland, because of current form. You could argue the fixtures as well, but I just feel Man City is a better side than Man United, and Haaland can turn it on in the blink of an eye, so I'm a little afraid of the EO there, although I think every sense of you is calling out for Rashford to be the captain. But now let's look at what transfers we're thinking about making. So like I said, we have a double game week, so I am actually lining up a -12. I feel my team is in sort of a need of it. Mitrovic was like a 1 week punt. He might be on his way out. Trossard's fallen out of favor. I think we're good on that transfer. Salah, he's been drifting out wide way too much, so we're good on that one. And then of course Darwin Nunez, if he's out for 3 weeks, I think that him to Kane is an obvious move to make, even with Kane's yellow card status. The players coming in, and this is not confirmed at all, this is just something that I'm thinking about. I may not even do all these moves. I might throw some of them off, I don't know. But I really do want Kevin De Bruyne for the game week. I think he's going to be a really good player to have, and that's one transfer. That's probably where my free transfer is going. So if I only make one transfer, it's probably going to be that transfer. But I'm very tempted to bring in Martial and Kane alongside them, and then to fund those moves, take another -4 with Trossard becoming Mitoma. So the way I like to look at this, I don't want to look at this as a -12 necessarily. I want to look at this like every transfer individually. So it cost me 4 points. Do I think Martial will outscore Mitrovic by 4 points? Now Mitrovic has Newcastle, Martial has Man City at home, and then he goes away to Crystal Palace. Yes, I do believe Martial could outscore Mitrovic by 4 points this game week, although given his form right now, it wouldn't surprise me if he just scored 4 points anyway. Now Darwin and Kane, will Kane outscore Darwin by 4 points? Could very well happen. He has a very tricky double of Arsenal and Man City, so the top teams in the league, but he does like to score a goal in the North London derby, and Tottenham have a decent record against Manchester City, so it wouldn't surprise me if this hit came off. And then of course I'm also trying to think long term with this. Manchester United with Martial, he could have another double sooner rather than later, like in game week 22, and of course Kane has very nice fixtures soon after the double, so I think I'll want these players long term, so I think they could really very well outscore them. De Bruyne, he's been underperforming a lot, and of course Salah has as well, but could De Bruyne in a double game week outscore Salah? Yes, I think he could. And then Trossard to Mitoma. I mean, Mitoma's the man in form for Brighton. I think he could very well outscore Trossard, and also just Trossard is dropping rapidly. He's cost me like 0.3 or 0.4 in value, so I'm thinking I might just sell him right now and get rid of him and just get it over with. So these are my reasonings for each transfers. Now these are not confirmed. There are other players I'm looking at like Anthony or something, and I will show you guys in the tinkering section a little bit later in the video. This is what I'm thinking right now, but now let's go and look at how this sets the team up. So after the transfers, here's the team selection. Here's how we're lining up. So Rashford, De Bruyne, Mitoma and Martinelli are the midfield. Cancelo is still in there, so minus 16. I feel like that's pushing it a lot, but I do think I could maybe not make the Trossard move for this week and just make the Cancelo down to Doherty move, something like that. Doherty has a double game week, scored in the last game, and he's looked very decent. His competition is Emerson, so I don't think that's too harsh on him. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe Cancelo down to another City defender. I don't know. That's another option for me. That's something I'll have to ponder before the game week. Now, Shaw, Rashford, De Bruyne, Cancelo, Haaland, Kane, Martial all have double game weeks. So that gives me 7 double game week players. That's just 14 fixtures right off the bat for those players. And then we have Arisa Balaga against Crystal Palace, Trippier against Fulham, Martinelli against Tottenham, and Mitoma against Liverpool. So any one of those guys could do very well. I mean, Kepa could keep a clean sheet. Trippier's been really good for Newcastle. Martinelli could easily score against Tottenham. Arsenal have looked really, really good. And Mitoma, of course, he has looked explosive. The Liverpool defense is looking horrible right now, and no Van Dijk to help them. So I think Mitoma could really take advantage of Trent in that game. Now, overall, I really like this team. Is it worth a minus 12? That's the big question. But now let's get into the tinkering. So this is just a little bit of a tinkering because I want to show you guys how this would look. So I'm showing you guys how a minus 12 with Cancelo would look. So doing this, I would have 1.5 million in the bank. Now what I could also just do is just not get Martial, keep Mitrovic, and instead use that other hit to upgrade Trossard to Anthony. So I really like Anthony as a player and as a punt. I think he's a really good, I think he's a really good player. And if we look at how Anthony has been playing for Man United, he's been fairly nailed since he came to the club. Here he got a little bit of an injury, came back from the injury, got 90 then. For some reason he didn't play. I think he had some sort of an injury or an illness or something last game against Bournemouth, and that's why he didn't play. But he played in the cup, scored a goal, looks really good. Man United fixtures are pretty decent, and he could be downgraded easily to Martin Odegaard later in the season. So maybe this is something that I might look at. But I am also keeping my mind open to the fact that I might want Martin Odegaard or Bukayo Saka, basically the third Arsenal player, and I would prefer Saka or Odegaard for the upcoming doubles for them. So they have a double in Game Week 23. If Man United double in 22, I'm not selling Anthony before that. And in Game Week 23, they have Leeds, so I don't think I'd sell him for that. So I think that actually might push me into buying Martial rather than Anthony. So that's where my thinking's at. So if I have Martial, I could just buy Odegaard instead of Anthony, and I wouldn't be taking too many hits, making too many changes to the side. So I'd still have, 3 Man United players for their double game week and possible double game week in 22. And I'd have 3 Arsenal players set up very easily for their double in 23. So that's basically gonna wrap up the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a bit of a long one, but I had to make it a bit long. There's a lot of things to go through. The transfers, I'm just giving you guys my transfer thoughts. They're not confirmed. The transfers aren't confirmed. So if you did enjoy it, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel. I will see you next time. Goodbye.